So overall, what I keep telling contractors that are asking about Owens Corning is the money that can be saved. We're already at saving almost $2,000. I'm gonna make a quick video here for you guys about Owens Corning. Now, we all know that Owens Corning lumber, specifically OC lumber, is expensive, and I wanna give you guys the price and kind of break down how this works. Now, there is no complaint with Owens Corning lumber for any of the durability, the structural integrity, the ease of build. There's no question that the product is superior than any other framing product. There's really no question at all about that. The biggest question is the price. So I'm going to do 2x12s. So for a 2x12 Owens Corning board, OC lumber, you're going to be paying $14 per linear foot, which is insanity. I know it's insanity. I'm not going to blow smoke. For a 2x12 pressure treated board, you're paying about $2.80 per linear foot. So you can see there's a significant, almost 5.5x difference from pressure treated to Owens Corning. And most people just say, oh, no, never mind. But a lot of builders don't take into the account the efficiency, the time savings, the savings on just materials and brackets, the waste savings. So what I realized the first time I built with Owens Corning was I saved about, a quarter in labor. So for however long I planned on it took about a quarter less than that, just due to the ease of build with Owens Corning. The more I worked with it on job 3, 4, I was saving an average 50% of time. So if I was doing a 6-day job, it was taking me 3 days. A 14-day job, 7 days. So there's a significant amount of time savings, which I'll get into, but I want to just run some quick numbers by you just off of that. So if you're paying $14 per linear foot for Owens Corning for 20 linear feet of board, right? Let's just use that as an easy number. You're going to be paying $2,800 for 200 linear feet of Owens Corning 2x12. In comparison, you're paying $530 for pressure treated. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Pressure treated wins, no questions asked. So again, people just stop right there. They're like, well, I'm not going to pay that. It's not worth it. Now, you do get a limited lifetime warranty residential and a limited 25-year warranty for commercial with Owens Corning, which is a great warranty. But if I'm just keeping it 100 with y'all, no one cares. No one wants to spend 5x for a lifetime warranty because you could replace your existing deck 5 times, right? It's like that's never going to happen. So overall, what I try to explain to the contractor and to some homeowners over the course of, I did the John Dawson tour, talked about Owens Corning a ton this year, is over the course of using it, here's what I found. If it can cut my labor time in half, let's say we have 3 guys working on average, let's say they're getting paid $20 an hour. Obviously there'll be some that get paid more, maybe some that get paid less if they're new. So let's just say you can take a 6-day job and cut it down to 3 days. That's 3 guys with 3 less days of labor, and 3 days, that's 24 hours times 3 guys, that's 72 hours of labor that you, the homeowner, the client, and the builder are going to be paying. That comes out to be $1,400 that you spent on that job in labor, right? Which is insane. So that $1,400, if you take that $1,400 away from Owens Corning's price, which is $2,800, you are down to $1,400 for the Owens Corning lumber. That's just the off the top savings. That's the guaranteed. If you work with Owens Corning, you're going to find this. Now, where the other savings comes in is Owens Corning has in-grain integrity. And what I mean by that is when you are fastening or lagging into the in-grain of the board, say you have a butt joint, say you have a miter 45, you don't need as insane brackets that you would need for pressure treated. Pressure treated, you're going to be doing, most likely you're going to be doing interior brackets on your corners, on your butt joints. And you're also going to be doing a lot more brackets from, any type of splicing or whatever else. You're going to be using brackets everywhere on pressure treated because the in grain you can't hold. For my corners for Owens Corning, I don't use brackets. You will either run the post up and we'll lag it into the post, and we know that that's going to hold, or we'll just go in grain to in grain, and that will hold as well, and you're not going to have to worry about the expansion and contraction, the moisture, and all that other stuff that you would have with pressure treated. Now, I'm not going to really knock any numbers off for that because you might save $200 on a job by using a few less brackets. I don't think that's really worth factoring in. And in some cases, I go ahead and throw brackets on anyway, just because out of habit. So we're not going to knock that off, but just keep in mind that is a place where if you want to pinch pennies, you could knock another $200-300 off of a project by just utilizing the strength and the integrity of Owens Corning and its in grain and the way it connects to itself. So the next place is where I want to show you where time is saved. So when you get a bunk, and all of us know this, when you get a bunk of pressure treated, one, pressure treated has just gotten worse over the years, but when you get a bunk of pressure treated, the number one thing you do is you open that bunk up, right? And you start pulling out just the bad boards, right? You pull out all the bad boards. That takes time. That's waste. That's 10% waste, right? So how much more? I mean, I usually go with 10%. If I'm doing pressure treated, I might order up to 15% extra just because you never know. It depends on how remote the job is. If I know I'm out somewhere, that I'm going to order probably 15% extra for waste with pressure treated because I don't want to have to be making trips to the store. So when you remove that from Owens Corning, so for example, if I need to use, if I'm doing a 12-inch deck, or not 12-inch deck, a 12-foot deck where I need 12 foot of deck joists, I'll probably go ahead and order either 16s or I'll order 12s, and then I'll order some 10-footers that I'll use to chop up for blocking. But here's the crazy part about it. Every inch of your Owens Corning board is usable. So if you order 16 footers and you do the math to where you're like, okay, I'm going to cut 12 foot off, and then I'm going to have the extra 4 feet on the end, and if I chop those 4 feet up into my blocking or whatever else, I'm going to use all but 1 inch of the board, or whatever it comes down to being. Your waste is exactly what you calculate. There's no like, oh, that's a bad board. Oh, that one has a knot. I can't use that for a stair stringer. That one's got a split all the way in about a foot, so I got to cut that foot off, and now I'm down to, an 11-foot board, which is no use to anybody. None of that happens with Owens Corning. So when you order 200 linear feet, as long as you get your dimensions in the right parameters of what you need, you're not wasting any of the board. So you can eliminate a significant amount. I'm probably ordering maybe 5% extra on Owens Corning because I already know that I'm going to use every inch. And if I get my dimensions right, like if I know that a 16 foot is going to be chopped up and utilized 100% of it or 98% of it, I don't need to factor that in. So you can save a significant amount, probably I would say another $500 to $800 on not needing to buy excess material. Buy the dimensions that will dice up into exactly what you use, and then you scrap your inch, your half inch, or you don't scrap any of it, and you're good to go. So if we take the $1,400 off, and then we take another $500 off, we're down to around $900 for the Owens Corning framing material, right? So now we're only about $300 above where the pressure treated is going. So the other thing that saves time too is there's no crowning, there's no warps, there's none of that. So you're not going through your bunk of lumber and crowning it and marking crown up. You're not going through your bunk of lumber and scrapping boards that are split on the ends. You're not going through and doing any of that. So that's labor that really knocked down time in the process. The other aspect that knocked down time as well is your joist hangers, right? Your joists don't need to be set individually. Owens Corning is perfectly dimensional. If you get 2x6s, they are 2x6s, right? Not literally 2x6, but 1.5 by 5.25. And you can basically set your ledger board. If you're using a 2x12 ledger board, you can go through, you can set all of your brackets, all of them, all of your hangers on your ledger board. And then you take that ledger board and you hang it up on your wall, you level out your ledger board, you lag it into whatever structure you're lagging it into, and then you just go through and you drop all your joists in. And it's done. There's no crowning. There's no making sure crown up. There's no making sure there's knots inside one of the joists that's going to make it a weak point. There's none of that. So once you do that, you realize that you're setting all of your joists in a matter of an hour or so, obviously depending on the job, but you're done. It's over. There's no question. And you can slide a level across it and double check it because it's going to be absolutely perfect. So overall, what I keep telling contractors that are asking about Owens Corning is the money that can be saved. We're already at saving almost $2,000 just by not ordering a ton of excess and saving labor, significant amount of labor. And a lot of people, if you haven't worked with it, you might not believe me, but I'm telling you, if you don't have to get up on a ladder and set brackets, if you don't have to set each joist individually up on a ladder or bending over, time is so much, the time is utilized so much better. It's you open the bunk of lumber, you can cut all of them right there. If you need 12 footers and you order 6 footers, you open that bunk of lumber, you cut off that bunk. There's no, oh, do we want to use this side of the board or that side of the board, or let's make sure there's no knots in our stair stringer boards. None of that happens. And not only are you saving $2,000 on labor, you're saving a significant amount of headache and preparation for what discrepancies you might see in pressure treated. And on top of this, what you can say is, yes, so you're going to be paying $900, so you're going to be paying $400. This is just the example of 200 linear feet. You're going to be paying $900 more for 200 linear feet of board, right? Or sorry, there's a bunch of numbers here. you're going to be paying $300 more for your Owens Corning structure, 200 linear feet, than you would be if you're paying, than if you were going with pressure treated. Now, with that extra $300, you're getting a limited lifetime warranty on your deck. So when you throw your $50,000 worth of composite decking on top of this structure, they know that one, your ledger board's never going to go out, your deck's never going to sag. You have a limited lifetime warranty, and you have waterproofing. There's no moisture, there's no absorption, there's no twists, cracks, warps, rust. There's none of that. So clients are willing to pay an extra $300, an extra $500, obviously as the deck gets bigger. You know, you could be paying an extra $4,000 for your framing, but that $4,000 is buying you a lifetime warranty. Now that makes more sense than saying, hey, you're going to be paying an extra 10 grand. And then they're like, is 10 grand really worth a lifetime warranty? But you as the contractor can crank out more jobs. You can churn and burn. You frame that deck up, you get it done. Not only that, when you're putting your trim pieces on and all that stuff that you're doing, it's done. Now here's the other aspect where we save even more money. There is no fascia needed for Owens Corning. When you frame an Owens Corning deck, you don't need to go back across it and add your Trex fascia, your whatever fascia you're using. It is the fascia. It is a board that is not going to fade in color. I think it fades, not even visible. I have Owens Corning fence out here, and you cannot tell that it's faded unless you bring a new piece, and even then it's still kind of hard to tell. So it doesn't fade. You can use that as exterior finished material. When you frame your stair stringers, if you box frame your stair stringers, that's it. You put your deck in on top, you're done. If you've ever done fascia on a deck, you'll realize that you have to have a standoff, which means you need to separate your fascia from your pressure treated structure so that moisture can wick through that and drain out so it does not mold, mildew, and rot your framing. That is a pain. So not only are you saving time on going through your lumber, setting your brackets, you're saving time because you are not needing to go through and have a guy set all of your standoffs and then go through and put all of your fascia on there and then get to your stair stringers and cut stair stringer fascia with standoffs as well. It's insane. I mean, a lot of people are like, John, you're blowing smoke when you say you save 50% of time. It's when you do it, and you guys are probably better at building decks than I am. When you do it, you're going to be like, holy crap. I framed this structure. My band board is my fascia board. My stair stringers are my fascia boards. All I do when I'm done framing is throw those deck boards on top, and I'm done. Right? So again, a lot of people look at the price of Owens Corning, but they don't break down the fact that they're ordering less waste, they're setting their brackets faster, they're framing their decks significantly faster, they're not doing extra steps with fascia and standoffs, and they have a limited lifetime warranty residential and a 25-year limited warranty for commercial. That to me is why I have Owens Corning on almost every project I do. Now I will add a caveat here. Owens Corning is not for everything. We are not going to use Owens Corning on a little 4x5 deck outside the back of a mobile home that we weren't going to put fascia on anyway. Frame that sucker up with pressure treated. It's fine. If you're doing a little step down where it's just really insignificant, I don't think Owens Corning is really going to be worth your money because that deck's going to be so cheap anyway that it's something that would just be easier to replace in 10, 15 years anyway. So again, I don't think Owens Corning needs to be on every single aspect of your decking builds. But when you're putting composite decking, when you're putting $30,000 of Trex or $50,000 of wear deck or $100,000 of you know, what's the other deck, whatever the other deck the big deck company is, that does composite decking. If you're spending that much money to go on the top of your deck, or you're putting hot tubs on your deck, or you have something that's out by the lake, out by the ocean, there's no question that people are going to be willing to pay an extra $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, obviously depending on scale, for an Owens Corning deck that's not going to rot, rust, warp, twist, have joists that remove themselves from brackets. It just is what it is. And all of this is done with the same tools that you use with traditional lumber. There's no new blades that you got to get. There's no new, fasteners or screws or nail guns. It's all done with the tools you already use. So let me know in the comment section what you think. Run your numbers just for fun. Run your numbers on Owens Corning, and then run your numbers on pressure treated, and then think about your time savings. Think about how much less you could order, and see how the numbers work out for you. Because I think you'd be really shocked how close you actually can get with Owens Corning to pressure treated when you take into account the fact that Owens Corning is standard across the board. There's no variables, and you can knock out jobs faster. I appreciate you guys for watching. Simple, quick video. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section, and I'll see you on the next one. Much love, y'all.